When we say addition, we mean that it has a plus between the two numbers. So we have our first number, our second number, and then the operation, and then the resulting sign. So let's say our first number is positive and our second number is positive. Then we're going to add the numbers and our resulting sign is positive. So if you add two positives, you get a positive. And if you add two negatives, so our first number is negative, our second number is negative, we're still going to add the numbers, and the answer is negative. So I know some people might be thinking, hey, I thought two negatives was a positive. And it is only when we're multiplying. But if you add two negatives, you get a bigger negative. All right, now what if we have different signs? Well, what if we have a positive and a negative, or a negative and a positive? Well, in both these cases, what we're going to do is we're going to subtract the two numbers. And what's our sign going to be? We're going to keep the sign of the larger number. Keep the sign of the larger number. Technically, it's a larger absolute value, but I think we'll be okay if we just say the larger number. So let's do one of each case. 5 plus 8. So that's that first row. They're both positives. And keep in mind, whenever you're watching the video, you could always pause the video, work on it on your own, or catch up on the notes, and then click on play when you're ready. All right, 5 plus 8, so they're both positive, so we're going to add the numbers. 5 plus 8 is 13, and it'll still be positive. All right, so here's negative 5 plus negative 8. The signs are both negative, so we're going to add the numbers. 5 and 8 is 13, but what's our sign? It's still negative. Right? If you owe $5 and you owe somebody else $8, then altogether you owe $13. Okay, now here's a positive and a negative. Now notice that there are parentheses around the negative number. It doesn't mean to multiply. Sometimes we think parentheses mean multiplication, but in this case it's just to separate the two signs. So in this case we subtract the numbers. So what does 8 take away 5? What's the difference of 8 and 5? 3. And then we keep the sign of the larger number. Which number is larger, the 5 or the 8? 8 is larger. And what's its sign? Its sign is negative, so it'll be negative 3. All right, one more. Negative 5 plus 8. Again, the first number is negative, the second number is positive. Therefore, the signs are different. So we're going to subtract the numbers. What's 8 minus 5? Right, 3. And then we keep the sign of the larger number. The larger number is 8 and it's positive, so it stays positive. So therefore, we don't put a sign in front of it. So just the answer is 3. All right, let's do a little bit more practice. Negative 15 plus negative 12. right, so are the signs the same or are they different? They're the same, right? They're both negative, so therefore we're going to add the two numbers. So let's go ahead and add the two numbers. $27. And then what's our sign of the answer going to be? Right, negative. When you add two negatives, you get a negative. All right, here's our next one, negative 32 plus 60. Again, try to pause the video and do the work on your own, and then come back to us when you're ready. All right, the signs are different, right? The first number is negative, and the second number is positive. So when you have a negative and a positive, we use that chart, and it says to subtract. So we're going to subtract. Whenever you subtract, you have to have the bigger number on top if we're going to write it vertically. So 60 on top minus 32. I need to borrow from the 6. Put a 1 in front of the 0, so that's 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. And 5 minus 3 is 2. So we have 28. And keep the sign of the larger number. Which one's larger, the 32 or the 60? Right, the 60, and it's positive, so our answer is positive. Okay, here's our next one. Negative 34 plus 16. Signs are different, right? So again, we're going to subtract. Which one should we put on top, the 16 or the 34? The 34. So we're going to put the 34 on top and subtract 16. We've got to borrow. So 14 minus 6 is 8. 2 minus 1 is 1, so we have 18. And then we need to keep the sign of the larger number. The larger number is 34, which is negative. So our answer will be negative 18. All right, here's our next problem. 52 plus negative 85. Again, the signs are different, right? So we're going to subtract. I got to put the larger number on top. And we borrow. Let's see, 5 minus 2 is 3. Sorry, we do not borrow. We just go ahead and subtract. And 8 minus 5 is 3. So we got 33. Oh, that's right. And then we keep the sign of the larger number. So which number is larger? 85. It's negative, so it's going to be negative 33. All right, a couple more problems. Now let's say you have more than two numbers. Well, in that case, what we do is we just keep going. All right, so here's our problem. Negative 15 plus 8 plus negative 24. So first what we're going to do is we're just going to concentrate on the first two numbers. So just this part right here, negative 15 plus 8. Okay. What is negative 15 plus 8? The signs are different. So we're going to subtract. Let's see, 15 minus 8. Well, that's 7. And then we got to keep the sign of the larger number. The larger number is the 15, which is negative, so that'll be a negative 7. All right, now we're going to bring down the rest of it. So now bring down the plus negative 24. Okay, now are the signs the same or are they different? The signs are the same. So what do we do if they're the same? Right, you add. So 24 and 7, I like to put the bigger number on top when I add. What does that give us? 4 and 7 is 11. 2 and 1 is 3, so 31. And then our sign would remain negative, because two negatives, when you add, is still negative. All right, let's do one more. All right, negative 12 plus negative 8 plus 20. All right, so first we're going to do the first two. What's negative 12 plus negative 8? Right, they're both negative, so we're going to add the two numbers. Let's see, 12 and 8. Oh, it's 20. So it's a negative 20. And then we bring down the plus 20 over here. So now we have a negative and a positive. So what do we do if one's negative and one's positive? We subtract. And we get 0. And then we keep the sign of the larger number. Well, they're both the same, so there is no sign. And 0 is neither positive nor negative. So just kind of a little note, 0 is an integer, but it's not positive and it's not negative. So that's our final answer. We don't have to put any sign in front of it. All right, that's our video. I'll see you here for the next one. Have a good day.